You know, I hear you speaking, and I just wonder to myself, do some leaders have a knack for understanding disruptive innovation? Do they just get it? Or can anyone learn to implement this theory, these theories, and be successful?
I think Scott said it very well, that there are, and Sal in the same way, there are some people who just have an instinct, and they're successful much more frequently than when they're not. But that really is exactly what we're trying to do, is if the ability to innovate successfully is in the brains and the hearts of a few. You know, down at the other end, there are probably 30% who are just beyond hope as innovators. They're good implementers, but you know. But for the rest of us in the middle, if we could just get the intuition out of them and articulate it in a way that plain old ordinary people like Clay Christensen can be innovative, that will be a great a blessing to mankind.
How have you seen that in your organizations? Do you think some people just get it? Do you think some people have a knack for it? Or can you learn this?
I think it was once believed that you had to have a knack to learn to read. Certain people had it, others didn't, most couldn't read. And then there were methods built to teach and help everyone learn to read. And I think there's some people who think you have to have a knack to do math, and then there's somebody who can invent methods where lots of people can learn math. I think this is eminently learnable because it's theory and examples. It's when there isn't the theory that it has to become an art, when it has to be black magic or an instinct. But it's when there's a theory that it's now learnable by everyone. And I think that's one of Clay's contributions to the world.
Yeah, well, you know, this is something that I think about a lot because we're at that early stage where, you know, we're growing fast, we get to be kind of the people who are, you know, maybe putting, you know, making the inflection point or taking advantage of whatever inflection point we're at. And this naturally attracts a lot of people. You know, and it's funny, there's a Harvard Business School case about us of whether we should be a for-profit or not-for-profit. And you know, the classic case against being a not-for-profit is you won't get the best talent. But one thing that we're seeing in spades is that we're getting the best talent in Silicon Valley, and we're getting, I mean, these people who are just, they're leaving other organizations because they want to be part of something that is hopefully could have high impact. With that said, you know, we're right at 40 people, and you know, I have a lot less experience than either of these guys. But you know, the organizations that I've been part of, you know, something does start to happen when you get to 100 people, when you get to 500 people, when you get to 1,000 people, when you're 5 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old. And part of my rationale for being a not-for-profit is I wanted this thing to be around in 50 years, 100 years with the same mission. You know, it doesn't get acquired, it doesn't get taken over by my spoiled kids or whatever else. They're very good right now, but they're 4 and 3, 4 and 18 months.
There's a lot of time left.
More spoiling to do, but but the one thing I do worry about, and maybe I just read too many science fiction books, is how do you know, it's a big win, I think, if Khan Academy is around in 50 years or 100 years, but I don't want Khan Academy to be the old guard in 50 years and some other institution is going to go and disrupt it. I want it to be a space for constant experimentation and innovation. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, Scott's actually one of my closest advisors. I like to pick his brain on how can we grow and stay innovative? I mean, I'm looking for ideas. So for us, it's really just it's a big question mark.